Hi, everybody. Sandra Pelli da Sandini here. Really excited today to be bringing you Lisa Bennett, an incredible artist that I found through a mutual Facebook group, possibly a post that she had created. And she piqued my interest as soon as I started to see her artwork. A few of the little bit of logistic things I'd like to get out of the way is this has been brought to you by a Spiritual How To. It's available on most Amazons. Please also watch for the next book that's coming out, Look, Sandy, I Can Fly. It's getting ready to go to the publishers. And welcome to Step Into the Light, Step Into Your Life. A really magical experience is happening before us every single day. And when you choose to step into the light and step into your life, it's really incredible what can happen. I would love to introduce the beautiful Lisa Bennett to the show, and here she is. And I'd also like to give you her version of her bio. And I just have to tell you that truly, I think that if all of us could write the way she does with her bio, we wouldn't even have to show up, because the words that you wrote in your bio just already have my interest piqued. So what Lisa wrote on her bio, and this is available on her page, theartisamante.org. Delete the portion of that. I dream in color. I've been a creator all my life, and in 2022, the door to the world of watercolors was opened for me. I am a knitting designer on Ravelry.com, a poet, spoken word artist, creator of rare fruit preserves and liqueurs, and I've watched the cauldrons of soap come to temperature. That's in Lisa's own words. She's lived in a redwood forest. Her journey with watercolors began with the leaves she picked up on the road, and she believes that she'll always return to leaves for the comfort. She's asking us to all go on a journey. If there's a way that her art or the art of the artist that she promotes resonates with you, she invites you to get at least a set of note cards, because inspiration is a gift from the muse and can be fleeting. Where did I see that painting of a cool sea turtle? I forgot. I know someone who would really love it. Ah, yes. And that's what really grabbed me was your artwork. I saw obviously I've been watching you for quite some time, and one of the posts that you did quite fairly recently in the last month or so was one about your favorite recipes. And I was like, wow, that is so neat to do a piece of artwork around your favorite recipe. I mean, I have all these recipes of my mom's that I love to grab a hold of, and to put it into art form would be just really, really magical. I'm a photographer, so I take photos. But that's what caught me, first of all, in a more deep way, but also too, your work with old cars, old vehicles has really hit home for me in a very big way. I'm going to give the floor to you. Can you tell us a little bit of your journey on the leaves, the sea turtle, the cars, the favorite recipes? We'd love to hear a little bit more about you.
I just wanted to mention to you that the audio at the beginning of this video was really quite poor on her end. And so I am putting this little clip in here to let you know that we are doing another recording. I'd also like to add that she is part of a nonprofit. She created the Artis Amante, and in that she donates money to big nonprofit groups such as Habits for Humanity, Doctors with No Borders, and others that are very impactful in the world because of their message. So without further ado, I will leave you to the next question and look for the next interview as well. Thank you.
We have a couple things going on right now. Someone's mentioned that they can't hear you very well. There is a feedback coming across, so we're just going to keep plugging away. What I love is that one of the pictures that you shared with me was you taking a picture of a tractor. And that like for myself, I'm a major photographer. Like I go out and you have no idea how many thousands of photos I have of old cars and trucks and tractors and this sort of thing, and old buildings. But the vehicles are my real true passion. But to then go and put it onto a piece of paper, I have been thinking that it's been way too difficult to do it with the modality, the medium that I'm working with. So I love that you're suggesting, go look at a tutorial. And I know that you also have a group that you're a part of that we'll speak about a little bit here. some of these pieces of artwork are truly, you've taken a picture and then you've gone and you've created your waterwork from that, correct? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of them. Oh my goodness, Sandra, you know about all the artists out on YouTube, don't you? Dozens and dozens. Oh my goodness. Hey, the echo just went away. How about that?
I muted myself, so I'm going to mute myself when you speak.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I connected with 20 artists overnight on YouTube. And what else? I am a member of the Friends of the Library. I go to their sale every time, and I actually help. But I get art books for $1 each at the Friends of the Library. If you want to save money, hang out with me. I also have another domain called Workforce Millionaire. I know how to save money. And I found there are Facebook groups where they will give you artists. Oh, so here's a big learning, Sandra, that I don't know what I don't know, right? So when I started painting, I would sometimes find a beautiful thing that someone had made on Pinterest, and I would copy it. I'm like a monkey. I did do art in the 3rd grade, and my mommy used to say, monkey see, monkey do. I could copy someone else's work. I did not know this was illegal. It's illegal. So you can't copy someone else's art, and you can't use someone else's photo if they haven't given you explicit permission. I found there are Facebook groups that allow you to use their reference photos. Wonderful. Thank you. And I posted a bunch out there too. And my friend Aaron posts beautiful, beautiful flower and garden shots on Facebook, and he has allowed me to use any of them. Some of the ones on my website are the sunflowers that face each other, which are on my, oh, here they are. This is the original, actually. Isn't that beautiful? That is from one of the photos from Aaron's garden. I never saw sunflowers face each other before. I call it kissing sunflowers, and it's on my business card. So I got beautiful flowers from him. I take my own rust shots. I went to a man who sells beautiful cars in the area, and I said, would they like to have a picture of their car before they sell it through you? And he said, you need to go to the meetup called Cars and Coffee. So every week now, Saturday morning, I go to this meetup called Cars and Coffee. I take hundreds of pictures of these cars, and I started painting them. So that's how I started getting into the rust thing. And then I told a girlfriend one day, I said, it feels like the only thing I'm missing is the African animals. I really want to paint African animals. I really resonate with African animals. And she said, oh, how silly of me. I'll send you a link. I went to the Serengeti 2 years ago. I have about 2,000 photos. Like, oh my gosh. And Sandra, she was a professional photographer. She's amazing. So now my next collection is going to be the African animals. And I'm going to go big. I'm going to finally go big. I haven't gone big before. So find photos that you resonate with. Make sure you have legal access to them, because there are copyright issues behind using other people's photos. It happens all the time, but honestly, you don't want any legal person coming after you for that. Even if you're a rookie, just don't challenge it. So yes, I have found groups to support me. I also, if you follow artists enough on YouTube, you discover many of them have a Patreon site. It's on patreon.com, I think. And I'm currently paying at a really low level for 3 different artists on Patreon every month. And they all happen to be from England, but England is very keen on watercolors, men and women. And I've gone to one watercolor retreat that was in May in Spain, and I got to paint outside and meet other artists. And I'm going to one next month in France. And then in the spring, I'm going to Italy to paint the Tuscany area. I'm so excited about painting the world. I feel like Italy gets to be painted. And just incidentally, because I kind of mentioned Workforce Millionaire, but a thing that I had not done before in the world of money was invest in another country. And one of the houses I stayed at, a little VRBO house I stayed at in Spain in May, I loved. I kept texting the owner going, I love your little house. And she says, it's for sale. So right now I am buying her house in Spain. And that's pretty exciting. I get to sign the final papers in April when I go to Italy. I'm going to be in Spain for a month and then head to Italy. And it will be mine. And I'm just planning to spend some vacation time there. And it's over 100 years old. It's a stone house. It has so much character. I live in California. This is a new state in a new country, and we don't have character houses in California for the most part. So I am now buying a character house in Spain. Yeah.
Well, your energy is absolutely fantastic. And there's so many bits and pieces that you're saying that I really feel that the audience and my communities can definitely relate to. You're showing up for yourself. You're looking at what can I use? How can I move forward? What is the best way and not necessarily the easiest way, but what's the proper way. And I know that I don't necessarily believe in looking at things at the proper way per se, but the legalities coming in from the human aspect of things, the legalities, like you're so bang on with this. I know that for myself, I used a raccoon picture, but my artwork doesn't look like yours. But I think a lot of it probably also has to do with the fact that the medium is different as well. So I'm really looking forward to explore with watercolors. I also heard about watercolor pencils the other day, which sounds really fascinating to me. Someone in the audience said that Harry Wong tells teachers to borrow ideas. So you're actually pre-forgiven. When you know better, you do better. I love that. You have this exuberance about you that just, I want to sit here and be in your energy. Do you teach classes as well? Do you do tutorials? Like here you are telling people to go on and look at tutorials on YouTube and that, but do you do tutorials for people to experience, or has that been something you've started to do as of yet?
I am by nature. That is who I am. I've homeschooled my kids for 3 years. I've taught adult education. I'm a knitter. I taught knitting and adult education. I've taught over 200 people how to knit, and at least one of them became an instructor. I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud. And I do tend to move toward teaching when I become good at something. I started doing this paint along on Thursday night, probably 3 months ago, maybe more, 4 months ago now. So we just get together and I will show a watercolor technique on Thursday night. It's free. It's on Zoom. Everybody can join. 5:30 Pacific. It's on my website on the tab called workshops. And maybe you could post it here. I don't know. But the workshop, it's an hour. Thank you. And the tab is workshops on artistamonte.org. Because I am doing watercolors. I show a technique. We do bubbles, or we do a flower. We did sunflowers last week. Butterflies. We do something people can suggest. I don't mind. And whoever randomly around the world shows up and we paint together, and it's social and it's very kind. It's a nice supportive place to be, and you can talk about whatever's on your mind. We've done neurographic art. I taught neurographic art in someone's summit already. So that is one of the first things I did. But yeah, the leaves are what I picked up first. I live in a redwood forest, and I would show you if I could, but there's redwoods all outside me. And I just went on the road and picked up the leaves that were in the fall that were beautiful. I asked a girlfriend, I don't think I have a niche. Like, I don't feel like I have a niche yet. She said, oh, of course you do. If you look at all of your artwork, guess what your niche is? And she said, you're talking about the journey. You're painting the journey. I paint leaves that have fallen to the ground. I paint vehicles that have rusted. I paint things that show that they've already been through a journey, and people relate to it. This art show that I just put on, I was in last weekend. People loved looking at the old cars. I was amazed, Sandra. I thought it'd be all guys, but oh no. There were women who walked up and just leafed through all the vehicles, but the men will tell me why this is a 1958 truck, exactly about the headlights and the running boards and all that. I have learned so much about vehicles in the last few months. Let me tell you, I'm going to be, my boyfriend says I'm becoming an artificial intelligence for vehicles, because he'll say, what's this one? I go, that's a Porsche. And so like he's testing me, right? But Sandra, I don't know where I end up. I could end up in acrylics or oils. I have tried inks. I've tried ink on watercolors. I have so many art materials now, because you're right. You accumulate art materials over time, right? And my dad, God love my dad. I went to visit my dad, and he knew I had just shown him that I was painting with watercolors, and he bought me this like Chinese set of oil paints, and it was a present. And he was, proud to give me this present. What a sweet guy. And I said, Dad, I'm a watercolor painter. He said, well, you're an oil painter now. Dad, it doesn't work that way. But I'm sure I will try oils. I mean, why not? I have the paintbrushes. I have the paints. I have some canvases behind me, a whole stack of canvases behind me. So I will try different mediums. I would like to paint the colorful animals. Have you seen them? Where people take, I think it's usually acrylics, but you can also do it with watercolors. Bright colors to paint animals instead of the natural colors they're in. Fascinating stuff, Sandra. And it turns out you can do that just by substituting the same darkness, the same value of another color for the one that was in the animal. So instead of a dark brown, you can use a dark purple, and it all turns out beautiful. It's amazing what art can do. So yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I encourage everyone to come to our paint along, and if it makes sense, I am happy to start a YouTube channel and to demonstrate what, thank you, that's perfect. To demonstrate what it is I do. I am naturally a teacher. I did not go to art school. Everyone want to hear where I came from high tech. I have a bachelor's in behavioral psychology because I was originally pre-vet at UC Davis. So I got this animal behavior degree that I love. I still have lots of animals. I have a master's in technology management because I came from high tech. And then I went to Stanford and got another 2-year certification in what I did in high tech. Like I came from the world of left brain. I have no formal training in this. This is all my muse just coming out. And if I can do this, everybody else can do this. I just happened to have some art materials in my house. I didn't even know what real art paper looked like for watercolors. Like, what's cotton paper? I have no, where do I find it? How do I wash my brushes? How do I mix colors? There's so much help out there. But yes, I would, because I'm a speaker and I'm a Toastmaster and I love to talk. I'm actually on open mics every week. I love to talk. I do poetry on open mics. I would be happy to create a YouTube channel if it makes sense for me and for the people who are interested in my art. I have no problem with that, Sandra. Does that answer your question?
I'm sure there's more than just myself that would be interested. Tell us a little bit about your not necessarily your workshop, because you've kind of told us about how it's a free flow. You feed off the questions that come in very much like I do with my groups. Tell us about that web page though, the Artist Amante. It covers different artists as well as yourself. What was the basis of the Artist Amante?
Right. So we brainstormed names for it, and one of the men on my board was doing French names. I thought, oh, how about Italian? I love Italian art. So Artiste Amante is how you pronounce it in Italian. It means loving artists. And my premise when I started the nonprofit was that I would like to support other artists in their endeavor to become more widely known. So I currently have the beautiful art, the beautiful photography of a lady who's local out there on the website right now. I'm promoting her. Valentine, Sylvia Valentine. Oh, you should see. She got photos of a heart-shaped cloud over Yosemite. Like, how special is that? It's like, wow, Sylvia, how long do you sit to get those photos? She said, no, I just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and I always have my camera. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I would like to, in the future, I'm noodling over this, Sandra, if you have ideas. I know there are people who have art supplies who aren't using them and who won't use them. Either they gave up art, they moved to a different art medium. I recently bought a huge art supply from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. He's like 50 miles from me. And he took up a new medium. He's burning wood. This is what he does day in and day out. As long as the sun is out, he goes out under the sun with a lens and he burns wood with the help of the sun. And he gave up watercolors. He did loose watercolor landscapes. I bought most, like 80% of his stock of everything. He had great taste in art supplies. There are so many people out there who have art supplies who aren't using them. Maybe it was just for their kids when they were young. Maybe they've passed. Maybe they moved away and just left all their art supplies. I would like to find a way to have a gathering place for those and distribute them to schools, distribute them to artists who are learning, who maybe don't have the money. Art supplies are expensive. That's no joke. So there has to be a redistribution model. And I'm not sure what it looks like yet, but I would love to noodle over that with some people who like to brainstorm. There's got to be a way. My friend that I met through my dad, her name is Eva. She's a stained glass artist. She now has people giving her stained glass when a person has passed. She's in her 70s. When a person has passed, or when a person leaves the area and doesn't take their art supplies with them, she says she has been given thousands and thousands of dollars of stained glass. She can't get through it in her lifetime. She says she wants to put on a class. Yeah, but how much can you use in a class? So there gets to be a model. In America, we are such a land of plenty, and we have people who are lacking and people who can't afford art supplies. It really is pricey. So how can we possibly, see, this is how my brain works. How can we possibly create a model where people can get their hands on the art supplies that other people aren't using? That's what I'd love to do.
You know, again, I just have to say, I just can't believe how connected we are and relatable you are, because my mom had a ton of stained glass, and I actually gave it to a good friend who does stained glass work. And that was a number of years ago. And now I've just moved beside a woman, an elderly woman who does stained glass. So I totally get this. My stepdad, he's a train guy, like the little trains and train tracks. And
Yeah.
I don't mean the little kid set. I mean the one you build the basement filled with train stuff, right? And he's doing the same thing essentially that you're doing. Like, he is finding these people who are selling their passed away loved ones stuff, because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to market it, and they're just selling it in these bulk pieces. So I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying here. There is definitely a market out there, and I can feel the power of an organization or a group doing exactly what you're saying there, where you're setting it up so this is going into either elementary schools, senior schools, or even at the college level. I mean, the poor artist, like, seriously, this is the poor artist. Like, again, I want to reflect back to something that you said. You said, in fact, I'll bring up the banner again because I want to get the words proper here. Bear with me a moment. You said, oh no, I didn't put it there. I put it in the comments. Thank you for your patience. You said, as soon as you get paid, you are a professional. So with that frame of mind, if you sold one piece of work, stop thinking that you are a poor artist, that you're a starving artist, and step into the energy of being the professional and start to see your value. Like, in 19 months, what you've done is so magical, the things that you've done. And yes, I understand that you've had some background in different areas that have helped you to do that. But there's things out there that other people can do to stop themselves from being in that limiting belief of being the starving artist, and creating this opportunity to gift or resell at a reduced rate the art supplies is huge.
I think it could be a huge opportunity.
Very, very big. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy into the starving phrase or mindset. Now, I'm not starving, and I do not need, I think I mentioned, do not need to do this for a living. I'm in a different position than a lot of people. But I believe that if I'm a believer in God, and I believe that we are given gifts, and you get to uncover your gifts as you go through life. I think I had this gift in the 3rd grade, and it was encouraged by my 3rd grade teacher, who has been in my passwords forever, because when they ask who your favorite teacher was, it was her. And she gave me an art kit that she had given her son and he wasn't using anymore. And I would have slept with that thing if I could have. It was called John Nagy Learn to Draw. It's really old now. And encouraging another person into art is a wonderful thing to do. And living up to your own muse, whoever he or she is, it's inside you, it's in here or it's in here, right? That says, I get to create something. I was always a creator. It's in that bio that you read. I create a lot of different things. I did not know I was an artist, like the artist who actually picks up paintbrushes. I knew I could copy something since I was in 3rd grade. But you get to fulfill all your talents. This is one of the things we get to do in the world, and we get to love everybody. So one of the ways you get to love yourself is by fulfilling who you are, who you were created to be, whatever your muse is. It could be dance, it could be poetry, it could be rowing boats. I don't know what your muse is. You get to live it. And there's no shame behind it, whatever it is. I don't get to be shamed about being a beginner artist. I've done some really crappy art, Sandra, and I got to move through all of those humps to get to where I am now. I still probably can't paint a decent cloud. I get to learn how to do that. I'm going to learn landscapes in Italy by one of the best landscape artists I've seen out there. His name is Oliver Pyle. What a great artist. So I get to tap into the passion and the proficiency and the talents of other people who are artists, and they help me build my skills. I'm not doing this all alone. This is a wonderful time in America and in the world, Sandra. We have access to so many resources, and art supplies are still expensive. So yes, we get to crack that one. But yeah, it's a wonderful time to be an artist. If you're holding back for whatever reason, I ask people this sometimes. They post on other people's art posts. They say, oh, I have all the materials and I've been watching all your videos and I don't do any. And I post, what are you scared of? There's something that's holding, like my boxes were holding me back, right? What are you scared of? I was scared of the energy behind my divorce. What are you scared of? You're scared of someone saying that's no good? Are you scared of shame? Are you afraid that your self-worth will be damaged when you make poor art? Like, who gets to judge your art? My friend Misty says, no, you don't get to judge your art, Lisa. You're learning, you're doing great, you're continuing, you're going day by day. And so she's constantly, she will not critique my art. She just constantly holds me up and builds me up. And I am super grateful. I am happy to do that to other budding artists too. Just keep going on your path. We don't all want to have the same art, Muse. We don't want to make the same art. Can you imagine how boring this world would be if all the art was the same, if all the dance was the same, if all the people were the same? Anyway, so you get to be who you are. And I don't know where I'm going to end up, Sandra. I don't know what medium I'm going to end up with. I encourage everybody to try, just throw some paint out there, or pencils, or graphite pen. Oh, there are some really cool art supplies out there. And if I can, I will find a way to get some art supplies into your hands. If you're listening right now, or if you listen to her replay and you'd really, really love to try watercolors and you don't have any supplies, I'll offer this to one person. I will send you some watercolors. I'll send you some paper. So let Sandra know. And I'll send somebody some art supplies you don't have.
You know, I'm just listening to you, and I don't know if people would really understand that this is the first time that you and I have ever spoken, because you are in such alignment with the messages that I personally love to bring to people. So I love that I paid attention to that intuitive hit, first of all, that really that I really felt connecting in with you. And that part about bringing in, like, understanding your passion and letting it come out. Failure is not an option is the phrase that I keep hearing right now. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's not in the person who's creating the art, but it's in the person who's looking at the art. You know, there's so many different mediums. I would also like to try, and I don't know if I'm using the word medium correctly. Is that's what it's called, right? It's different mediums. Like, okay, perfect. Like there's Dutch pour. I would love to do it, but however, that's really expensive, and you get all these different things. My sister does something like this, and she actually created this incredible 16 by 20 piece and disliked it, and so she went about wiping all of it off, and then she stopped and she looked at it and she's like, oh my gosh, what is this? And when she posted it, she goes, here's a big mistake that I made, and all I can see is this big golden beautiful close-up of a dragon's face and its eye. Like, it was so incredibly magical, and yet she called it a mistake. Like, really, everybody, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Look at this. Wow, that's a snake.
Them on my website, and I had a woman say, oh, well, I don't know about these lizard eyes. I said, I love lizard eyes. They're so complicated. They're so cool. I want to paint dragons one day. But yeah, I get it.
So the things that I'm hearing you say, I'm hoping that everybody goes back and re-listens to this, because there are nugget after nugget after nugget of really powerful information that Lisa's giving you here. And also too, if there isn't budding artist out there who is wanting to try watercolors, Lisa's made an incredible offer to one person. So reach out to myself and let me know if you're that person who would like to have the opportunity to discover that passion within yourself. Is there anything
It
else
could
you'd
be
like
for
to
a
say?
child, somebody in school, somebody in college, someone who just doesn't have the money for the materials. I have extra little travel sets, and I can certainly send you some paper, real paper.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? This has been very, very informative, very magical.
It's been fun, Sandra. I'm glad you invited me. I had no idea where we were going today. I just say follow your muse. She or he is in you somewhere. You have one. And I had suppressed mine for so long. I was in high tech. I don't know where you are. The woman next to me at the art sale last week in the art fair, she came from accounting, and she's now gone to oils. So you might have something that's really repressed in you if you're just staying in your left brain all the time. There are a lot of really good artists who are in very technical fields or doctors. So make sure you let your muse out, whatever it happens to be. It's a gift. You are gifted. Go for it.
I want to add to that. I know a longtime teacher who's retired now from teaching, who's now the storybook astrologer. I know another teacher who had no idea what she was going to do when she retired. When she started to listen to the passion within herself, where she's going now is absolutely magical. I know an engineer who now does EFT, does tapping, the emotional tapping, and it's such a powerful, powerful thing when we start to pay attention to that creative side within ourselves. So live and breathe. You also mentioned about grade 3. And I speak about the little you all the time, that inner child within ourselves, and pay attention to those pieces that we used to do when we were kids.
Yes.
I played with Legos like you wouldn't believe, and now I love building things like with bricks and all sorts of things. I may not be an artist per se, but I love playing in the garden in my yard, doing things with bricks because I love to play with Legos. Right? Yeah.
That is an exercise you would like to do when you were 8 or 9 years old, and expand on that. What is it that blew your skirt up when you were, spun your wheel when you were that old? And when I was in 3rd grade, it was drawing with probably crayons, because I didn't have any art. We were really poor when I was young. So I think all I had was crayons.
Very powerful. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. I'm going to put up your website again. It's I'll get you to say it.
artistamonti.org.
Beautiful. And to connect in with her workshop and discover how to bring out that part of yourself, the /workshops, free Zoom call.
And I hope somebody takes me up on
Me too. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye.